This is what happens when you don't move your body. This might be contributing to your stalled health and fitness and weight loss results. This might be what's actually holding you back. Hey, Hey everybody, it's Brian with Applied Fitness, where our mission is to motivate, educate, and empower you to become the best version of yourself. And today I want to talk about what happens when you don't move and you don't exercise and how that can play into your health and fitness goals. Because this past year we've been on lockdown, and as you know, we've been in quarantine, and a lot of people have been working from home. They've been doing less things, and I want to talk about how that can all add up to stalled weight loss and even weight gain, because we always say it's the little things that matter that add up to huge results. So I want you to think about your weight gain or your lack of weight loss, not just the extra calories that you've been taking in, or maybe a little more alcohol and all of that stuff. We're going to leave that aside for now. We're just going to talk about the exercise and the three components of exercise that matter, and those are the only three things we can control and that we can regulate. So let's talk about how we can get the results, keep the results coming, and most importantly, maintain those results through these three things. So let's break it down. First is BMR, basal metabolic rate. And the only reason I'm going to bring this up because this is super important for you to think of your basal metabolic rate as a fire, as a big fire that burns your calories, it keeps your metabolism. That's what we always talk about, that word metabolism. We use that word a lot, but that's really your basal metabolic rate, how many calories you burn even at rest. So again, think of that as a fire, and it's constantly burning. Sometimes this fire is burning more, sometimes it's just more of a kindling, but it's always on. And that typically is about 60 to 70% of our calories is through our basal metabolic rate. So think about that and keep that number in mind. Second is the thermogenic effect of food. All that means, it's just a big terminology for what it takes to burn the calories. Now think about this too, certain calories or certain foods take more of a thermogenic effect to burn. So for instance, when you eat a lot of fat, your body can store that relatively easily, so it doesn't need to burn as many calories to store the calories. Same with carbohydrates. But when you eat more protein, it takes your body more energy to break the protein down into amino acids. So the thermogenic effect of eating is something that comprises mostly about 10% of your calories, give or take. Again, that's nothing we're going to focus too much on, but this last component is the big one, and that is the thermogenic effect of physical activity. And what that is, that's just, again, just a big term for activity level. We're going to break that down into exercise and your non-exercise activity. And actually, when you think about this, this is the only thing we can really control. So the exercise part is simple. We know if you come here and you work out in the studio, if you do a 30-minute high-intensity interval training workout here, you're going to burn about 600 to 700 calories, which is awesome. And more importantly, we're going to enter the afterburn effect. So that's going to burn not only the calories here, but that's going to raise your metabolism, remember that BMR, that rate throughout a 24-hour period even higher after the workout. So you can see how doing that form of training can help you burn a lot of calories here and then keep you burning throughout the rest of the day. The second component of that is the non-exercise physical activity. And that's really important because that's the activity that I think we've lost a lot of the past year. That's the walking, that's standing. We're doing a lot less walking because we're working from home. We're not walking in the car, we're not walking in the office. We're not standing as much because you're going from your bed to your couch. Hope you're showering at some point in there, but you're going from your bed to the couch. Everything is so myopic now that we're not walking or standing as much as we used to. So again, we're getting less of those thermogenic effect of physical activities, which can usually be about 10 to 20%. So we can monitor that by being more active. So here's some strategies, and they're really simple, and some of them are low-hanging fruit, but just move more. And whether that's just, walking a little bit more after dinner or walking throughout the day, say you have a lunch break during the day, even working at home, just go for a walk. The weather's getting nicer, just get out, go for a walk, do something to walk to burn some calories. Try and hit a minimum of 10,000 steps a day. Most people have the Fitbit or the Apple Watch, or at least you have a phone that keeps track of your steps. Try and hit that 10,000 steps. Obviously, we know that number is arbitrary, but at least that's a good starting point to know that you're getting enough steps, enough activity. And last but not least is look for opportunities that you can be more active, whether that's parking further away. All these things sound silly, but it does add up. Exercise is like loose change. It all adds up for your change to help you achieve the results that you want. So there, the three things: the basal metabolic correct, and the thermogenic effect of food, and the thermogenic effect of physical activity. Those are the three things that control how many calories you burn throughout the day, which ultimately controls how many calories and how much fat you're going to lose in your weight loss and fitness journey. I'm Brian with Applied Fitness. I hope that helps. If it did, please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, reach out to us. We are here to serve you. We're here to help you achieve the results that you want. Be great.